Hello, I'm here today to talk to Jeff Morgan about global conservation. How are you today, Jeff?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. Well, let me give the audience some background. I would be honest in saying I'm a little late to this cause, but I feel the urgency of it. And what I've learned from working with you and watching you is that in the heart of the most biodiverse regions, we have a huge crisis. The lungs of our planet are being decimated. Irreplaceable species are driven to extinction, and the last bastions of untouched nature are under siege. I think what we're saying is that there is hope amid this global emergency if we act now.
Mhm.
So, Jeff, you've given your life to this mission. You spent the last 20 years global heritage and global conservation. My first question for you is, global conservation was born out of a deep urgency to protect the world's most endangered places. Can you share with us the story behind the founding of global conservation?
Well, Conan, I think the most important as I traveled over the last 30 years, I was doing a lot of work in tech and then cultural heritage with GHF. And I just saw more and more of the planet burning down and being cut for agriculture, uh, cattle ranching, mining, illegal and legal. And so the last kind of intact forest, like we're used to, like the redwoods were in California, which we cut down too. But the best forests and the best places for wildlife to survive in each of these countries is getting smaller and smaller. So we're in a scarcity situation where if we don't protect the last places that are left, you're basically there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, we're down to our last 300 tigers in Southeast Asia. We're down to our last 500 elephants. In some countries, there are no mammals or tigers or elephants. Cambodia is a good example. The tigers are all gone. So the getting back to where we were even 10 years ago is becoming harder and harder because once it disappears, unless DNA becomes, replaceable, we're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
A lot of what's there.
Well, I'm glad I could see the passion in your voice when you're talking. It's great. It's funny if we open our eyes out of our everyday, like daily existence, we can see that, you know, the planet's on fire. Forests are burning, wildlife is vanishing, ecosystems are collapsing. And the destruction of these natural treasures isn't just an environmental issue. It's kind of a threat to our very existence. Tell me some of the most pressing challenges facing these endangered sites and give me
Well,
more of
you
your
have
take.
to realize we're in California, so we live in paradise. I have so many deer running through, here. We've got mountain lion, we've got turkey, very, very rich because we protected it. And the problem is, and just like India, India has spent a lot, and Nepal have spent a lot of money and a lot of effort to protect the tigers, and that's why there's tigers are growing. Now we're starting to get tigers back because they put a consistent amount of effort and money. Unfortunately, most countries aren't like India, and they can't get their act together to protect what they've got left before it's too late. And so we're really in this emergency crisis mode in anywhere from Cambodia down to its last 15% of forest, all burned down in the last 30 years. Malaysia and Indonesia for palm oil cut down 85% of their forests in the last 20 to 30 years. So it's rapid, it's massive, and the fires are starting again right now. It's called Asia Haze, and it closes down Singapore every year for nearly 2 weeks. People can't even go outside. Schools are closed because so much burning is going on. And I can't believe Singaporean doesn't help anybody. They're not doing anything to help their neighbors. I don't get it. So we're, in California
Yeah.
raising millions of dollars to really go and invest in each of these best places, the last forest left on our planet.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that, Jeff, because it's kind of like the people that we're talking about these amazing places of biodiversity and complete nature at its truest and its finest. But the people there are kind of a lot of times too impoverished to see part of the pun, the forest for the trees. They're just trying to get through their daily life. So it takes countries like America, it takes organizations like Global Conservation that can raise the money and then help them protect it. And I think I love what you said, because it's not just about the loss of, this climate change. There's a lot of implications from losing these ecosystems, from climate change to losing, our biodiversity.
Well,
So
I think it's even more important to realize that protecting standing forest is 20 times, 100 times cheaper than trying to regenerate destroyed forest. Okay, so you have these large chunks of intact, tall trees that have been growing for 200-300 years. And when you cut those down, you lose all the carbon. You lose all their benefits to absorb carbon dioxide and generate oxygen. So what we're really at Global Conservation focused on is keeping those trees standing. And that's a huge challenge when people need money, like you said, when people want to run cattle in there instead. And
well, I
it's
think
just crazy.
each day, more forest is lost, more species disappear, and the resilience of our very planet is weakening. So given this accelerated pace of destruction, why is it more critical now to act?
Well, I think you're let's just put it this way. Everywhere you go, the tractors are getting bigger. Komatsu, John Deere. These are huge machines that are able to tear down, miles and miles of forest in a week. So,
We call that progress. We got bigger
we
tractors.
call it progress.
Yeah.
And who's not a third world country that is doing it worse than anyone is Australia. And Australia is tearing down 500,000 hectares a year. That's huge amount of land. And they're just tearing it down to run cattle. And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. For
And
me,
then there's no place for the koalas. The koalas could generate huge tourism. It's a national species. Everybody knows it. Very, enigmatic and charismatic species. And just saving the koala could generate hundreds of millions of dollars for that country.
you're bringing up another pet cause of mine, which is, how we raise livestock to be fed, particularly factory farming here and across. But let's save that for another day. What I love about the story and why I'm so anxious to help you and be part of this is that global conservation is fighting back using technology. Now I love you because you're a Silicon Valley baby. Not many people know that, but before your global heritage and conservation days, you were in the heart working with big companies like Sun, et cetera. Talk to me about global conservation's unique approach, how you're leveraging technology, and community engagement as well. But I want you to stress kind of how you're bringing the Silicon Valley ingenuity to this type of
Well,
work.
right. The last 10 years, last 10 years have brought huge breakthroughs in satellite monitoring technology, so we can see fires real time happening around the whole planet. The Planet Labs, which is a satellite company, they put up hundreds of satellites, so we're getting photos of the Earth every day. Elon Musk with his Starlink. Now we have communications anywhere in the world that we want at a reasonable price. So these are transformational technologies that are enabling us to do massive conservation work with a very low money. It doesn't cost anything to monitor, help these parks monitor for fires and get there early before they spread. We're using satellites, trail cameras. So mini trail cameras we put all around the forest, just like CCTV in London. We're able to see crimes before they happen. So that's the key. You don't want to get after the elephant's dead. You want to get the people coming in to kill the elephant before. And so getting those systems, and there's a Paul Allen, who's the founder of Microsoft. He funded a major effort to something called Earth Ranger. So we deploy that in all of our projects because it's real time. It tracks where the elephants are, where the rangers are, where the bad guys are, and all the systems come in, and a park can now be up to speed at a very high level to manage what they've got.
Yeah, so this is what I love. It's like we talked about, how man in search of the almighty dollar has created these amazing machines to kill nature and to tractorize forests. At the same token, we've developed these technologies that can be you use drones, you use satellite communication, you use very advanced technology to put a perimeter around these and protect and make sure that they're not being illegally logged or poached or
Or
whatever.
illegal fishing using the radars. You know, every boat has a radar. Why doesn't every marine protected area have a radar so that they can see the illegal activities, go out and stop it? You know, it's just a matter of the Earth so far, the people on this planet have not decided to focus the money in the right way. They're giving all their money to these big, what we call bingos, TNC, CI, World Wildlife Fund. Billions of dollars are going to these groups, and that we can't. I give $1 million to WWF. I have no idea where it went. 5 years from now, I still wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So where we have 100% transparency. We see when someone gives $100,000, you see it go to that project, get the boots, get the radios, get the truck, whatever it takes to get that park
No,
protected.
I love that. There's a nice flexibility about how you can direct the contributions you make to global conservation, either by geography that you might be partial to, or to the type of project. Having
Well,
said
and
that,
accountability, so you can see exactly what's happening when it's happening.
absolutely.
Bitcoin's actually a great model because you can break things down into modules that get completed, and then you can see when it was done, and it's all right there on the computer. So
I like that. Yeah,
you can
I like
check
that.
on your projects every week and see, oh, well, how many people did they arrest? How much land was burned? You know, all these indicators can be real time, basically real time, available
I
for
think that's
donors and for people protecting these areas.
what let's share a success story or two from global conversation using this approach. I know you've done amazing things in Indonesia. Give me a couple that have led these significant reductions in deforestation and wildlife conflict.
Well,
Tell me about some.
you know, each country is very different. So measuring success is a little bit different by country because, you know, a broken country like Guatemala, yeah, just staying afloat is a success. Where in Thailand, we started there about 6 years ago, a place called Top Lawn National Park. It's UNESCO World Heritage. Very amazing forest, tigers, elephant, everything's there. But the problem is the Chinese syndicates have been coming in there to take the last of the rosewood out. So if you look at Asia, we started out, they logged all the mahogany out of all the countries. Then they logged all the teak out of all the countries. So there's none of these trees even remaining in Thailand. So then they come in to get the rosewood because it's the last good expensive wood that there is. And they're sending thousands of people into this Top Lawn National Park. And we had to organize over 200 rangers and 2 military battalions to stop this rosewood poaching. And within 3 years, we'd arrested 1,200 people. And these people were coming in from Cambodia. They were basically Cambodian labor. And they're coming into the park in groups of 20 or 30, hauling out the rosewood in big chunks on their back. And they were supplied all the food that they needed for those 3 weeks to go into the forest, log as much as they can, cut it up, and ship it out to the border where it was picked up in trucks. What we were doing, which was so smart, is we were putting GPS locators in the wood that were waiting to get picked up, and we followed the wood back to the middleman who was also Chinese, living in Cambodia, and we got him. I mean, in Thailand,
Yeah,
and we got to bust
I
a
love it.
whole warehouse full of this.
Little detective work to catch the bad guys who are using technology as well. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know
Oh, they
when I
got
hear this
satellite phones. Yeah.
when I hear this story of you telling it between, you know, how we took all the mahogany, we took all the teak, it's like man knows the cost of everything, but the value of nothing. You know, you're kind of taking a priceless resource for some dollars and cents in the short term.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not poor villagers that are behind this. Most of the wildlife trade and illegal logging, it's the same syndicates that are selling the drugs, the same syndicates that are shipping the cocaine all over Europe. It's these groups, these syndicates that know how to get through customs, know how to get shipping, clandestine shipping, and the commodity doesn't matter. So that's the scary part to me. These are not poor, uneducated villagers just trying to get food. This is high-end syndicate greed destroying our planet on a daily basis.
yeah, no, I love it. I don't want to be over melodramatic here, but I view this as a, you know, we're saving our planet. It's not just
Well,
about
Conan,
making.
I will send you some basic maps from Global Forest Watch that show the fires and deforestation of our planet over the last 20 years. It's in developing countries, North America's fine. Europe, they cut down all their forests, but it's still green or whatever. In developing countries, what we call the global south, it's devastating. The Congo's being burned to the ground. Amazon's being burned. Those are the
And
two lungs. Those are
yeah,
the
and
two lungs of our planet.
yeah, that's the lungs of the planet. I
So
agree.
if we don't protect them, we're all not going to be able to breathe, and the temperatures of the planet are going to keep going up. The
Well,
cheapest and most cost-effective way for us to protect this planet are keep the tropical forests intact. Use them for different products, non-timber forest products. Manage the forest. Keep them intact and make money off them, but keep the lungs intact.
yeah, it's a battle for our future. So as you look to the future, um, what, how do you want to see the growth of global conservation, and how can others join you in the critical mission?
Well, so our goal right now is we're at 25 parks where we're doing the protection work. We're trying to grow that to 100 in the next 10 years. So we've been at it 8 years now. So we're basically, doubling, tripling our work over the next 10 years. And the goal is to really get about 200 million hectares, which costs that we're talking about is like about 100 million US over the next 10 years. So about basically $10 a hectare is
Yeah,
what it's going to cost. And that saves 20 million from being cut. 200 million are much better secured, but really we can only say we avoided deforestation. We did not allow the loss of about that 5%.
I got you. Well, no, it's an amazing cause. What I love is that you've dedicated your life to it. You're driving it hard. I'm happy to be part of the team. The time to act is
Well,
now.
thank you, Conan.
We want to support global conservation, and stay tuned for more updates. This has been great, Jeff. Thanks for
Yeah,
your
and
time.
everything, like I said, everything's on the website. We do news reports and progress reports on a weekly basis on